A good Erev Yontif, everybody. Everyone's doing well, getting ready for Yom Kippur, the most auspicious and holy day of our year. And let's see if everybody can get on this morning. A little preparation, emotional, spiritual preparation for the Yontif as we get ready for a very special day, a day that Hashem is opening the doors for us. The relationship is coming to a climax. Hello, good morning. Let me know where you are watching from. Say hi, so I know who's here. Boker Tov. Okay, so I think we'll get started. As I mentioned on the post, that the concept I want to cover today is that we are not broken. We cannot come into Yom Kippur in a state of fear. We can't come into Yom Kippur in a state of trepidation, a state of frightenedness, but more we are in a relationship with our Father. And it's a different kind of relationship when you come into Shul and you're freaking out because, oh my God, I was so bad this year. And then who am I? And Hashem is going to give me another bad year. But we're coming in to see our Father, to see Hashem. And our Father is happy no matter what you did. When you walk into your Father's house, He's excited to see you. Am I right? So first, let me say a good Erev Yontif to all my friends here. We have Helga. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Kim. Lily, Shirley. Good morning, Tova. Good to see everybody on. Okay, first I'm going to wish you all, good morning, Evelyn. I'm going to wish you all a good Kiben Shiar, Shana Tova. And it's a good time to study a little bit, to get into that little bit of frame of mind of what we are talking about. How are we going to get to Shul tonight? How are we going to speak to Hashem tomorrow? Good morning, Corinne. So everybody put in your tzedakah, gedol tzedakah, shemetzereves ha'geula. Say chapter Chaf. Feel free to put down anyone who wants to pray for anyone specifically. We go chapter 20. It encompasses everything. Lam Natseach Mizmor LeDavid Yancha Dinar B'Yom Tzara. Yisagef Hashem Elohei Yaakov. Yishlach Ezracha Mikodesh U'Mitzion Yisadeka. Yizkar Kol Mechasecha V'Lascha Yidash Nesela. Yitain Lecha Chavavecha V'Chatzescha Yimale. Yilane B'Shem Secha U'B'Shem Elohei Yitgol. Yimalei Adonai Kamel Shach. Ati Atati Kiyoshi Atati Yanir B'Shmei Kachar B'Gvuras Yesha Yamina. Ela Varecha Ve'ela Vasusim V'Nachnu B'Shem Adonai Eloheinu Naskir. Hema Karu V'Nafolo V'Nachnu Kamnu V'Nisadad. Adonai, Hoshea, Hamelech, Yanenu, Yom Karenu. Hashem should hear all of your prayers. Good morning, Helga. I see we have Sima Bat Rivka. Today's learning will be in honor of Sima Bat Rivka, Devorah Bas Rezla, Rachel Bas Fega, and we'll have them in mind. Good morning, Ingrid. Good morning, Arlene. Great to see everybody here. Okay. So Shabbos, we had a bunch of guests sitting around our table. And this young Bocher, we'll call him Shmuley, that was his name. Shmuley was sitting at the table and he's telling us, so what happened was, I was sharing a story about two boys that were on Miftzayim, that were going out on Fridays to offices in Manhattan to get people to put on tefillin, to remind women to light Shabbos candles. And the Shmuley says, that story happened to me. So with all that credibility, I need to share with you the story. Shmuley and his friend, hey, Barb, how are you doing in Naples, Florida? Please tell us how you're doing. Just give me a thumbs up or just tell us that everyone's fine. We're all worried about you. So this Shmuley and his friend, every Friday, they would go into different offices in Manhattan and different business offices, financing, lawyers, and they would bring a little paper, like a l'chaim paper that has a Dvar Torah from the Rebbe, or they would give out candles to the women there if they want to put on, to want to light candles, and of course they would bring tefillin to the men. So Shmuley goes in with his friend every Friday to the same offices. Now, one week, his friend got married. So the following week, the boy didn't come with Shmuley anymore because he was a married guy now. He was busy taking care of his wife. But this young groom had invited all the guys that were in his Manhattan route. He invited them to his wedding in Crown Heights. So now this is Friday after the wedding. Shmuley walks in, and in one of the offices, the guy says to him, Shmuley, what's the deal with your friend? Shmuley, what do you mean? He just got married. He goes, I know, he got married. I was at the wedding. He says, so why are you so alarmed? Why are you so upset? What happened at the wedding? What happened that's making you so disillusioned? He says, do you know, Shmuley, I came to the wedding, and this guy was going to the chuppah. His parents were leading him to the chuppah, and the guy looked devastated. He looked aghast. He looked very, very serious. Let me ask you, was he forced into the marriage? Rolling his eyes, forced into his marriage. This boy's ecstatic. He loves his bride. I saw him yesterday. He couldn't look happier. And Shmuley says to him, wait, did you stay for the wedding? He goes, I had to rush back to Manhattan. I just made it for the beginning of the chuppah. He goes, no wonder you think my friend was forced into the wedding. You see, the first part of the chuppah is the serious part of the wedding. At that moment, the groom and the bride are very aware, they're very cognizant that the two souls are now merging. It's a very, very holy, auspicious, and serious time. It's not a time for jokes, looking around, focusing on the crowd. The groom is focusing straight at his bride. And when he walks in, he has one thing in mind. We are now fusing and becoming one. That's a serious moment. Not a time of frivolity, of winking at guests. No, 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 no. This is a serious moment. And so my friend was focusing. But you didn't stay for afterwards when they broke the glass, when they broke out into a joyous simon tov and mazel tov at the wedding. You didn't see my friend dancing on the tables and all the juggling and fireworks. He goes, nah, I left. I had to go home. You know, I said to Shmuley, this is exactly the situation we have with Yom Kippur. This is the situation that we have with the whole month of Tishrei. So listen up, my friends. I want to set you up on a different trajectory for this year, okay? Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are like the chuppah. We come to shul, we're serious. But wait, are we frightened? Are we nervous? Are we being forced? Like that fellow thought the young man was being forced to the wedding? Is there trepidation? Is there anxiety, anxiousness? No, 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 emphatically no. It's just we know at this moment, Yom Kippur, we are forming a secure bond with God. It's a relationship building. This is our Father, our King, Avinu Malkeinu, right? How many of you know that song? Give me a thumbs up if you know the song. Avinu Malkeinu, Chaneinu Vaneinu. Okay, I ain't no chazan, but you know the song, right? Give me an emoji that you know the song, right? You know the song. It sends good feelings. Why is it sending good feelings? Because it's you're connecting with your Father in heaven. Even if you haven't been in shul a whole year, you say, Dad, I'm home. I'm here. Father, I am back. And I'm not forced into this relationship. I'm a Jew because I'm proud. So is it trepidation? No. It's seriousness. It's humbleness. It's relationship building. And we're spending the 25 hours from tonight on telling Hashem, we want a relationship with you. We love you. And maybe we didn't show up so much this year. Maybe the mitzvahs were so, ay. We could do better. This year, we are going to be the best. Like the husband who shows up to the chuppah and he says to his wife in his mind, I am now promising you a life of closeness, of bondness, of eternity, of connection. That's what's happening today in Yom Kippur. It's very different than the Musar movements of coming and cleansing yourself and pounding yourself and hurting yourself because you were bad this year. You were a very, very distant Jew. No. We are coming to Yom Kippur tonight with a love so dear and so strong. We are tshuva. We are tashuv. We are returning who we are. The child who really has a connection to Hashem. The child who really loves their father. And when we have that relationship, then what comes afterwards? The breaking of the glass, the rejoicing, and the breaking out into dancing. And that's really what happens right after Yom Kippur. We break the glass and we get ready for Sukkot. And you know what happens on Sukkot. It's Zman Simchatenu. It's the holiday of rejoicing. It's the holiday of being thrilled that you are a Jew, that God chose you to be born Jewish, that you and I have the responsibility of so many ways of connecting to Him. We could connect through tzedakah. We connect through Tehillim. We connect through mezuzahs. We connect through Shabbos candles. We connect through tefillin. We connect through mitzvahs. We connect nonstop. It's an incredible relationship building moment. And this month is so full of joy. Make sure you get to Sukkahs this year. Make sure you come to Shul and Simchas Torah. And I'm putting it out there. Come to our Shul and Simchas Torah and see how the women dance. See how the men and the children dance. Be part of not just this guy in Manhattan who shows up to the chuppah and walks out and goes, that relationship's not going to continue. Imagine all you know about Judaism is Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. By the way, guys, you know, there are a lot of Jews out there. The 3 times a year Jew, you know, they come 2 days Rosh Hashanah, 1 day of Yom Kippur. You know what they think about Judaism? Boring, hungry, seriousness, banging on my chest. Who wants to be part of such a Judaism? But they leave right before the chuppah is over. Oh my God. They check out before the meal. They check out before the dancing. They check out before all the excitement. Imagine Jews that only know about Judaism, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. And then their kids, you wonder why their kids want to have nothing to do with Judaism. Would you want to have to do with a religion that sits a whole day and prays and bangs their head and starves themselves? No. We want to give our kids a Judaism that's Simchas Torah Judaism, Hanukkah's Judaism, Purim Judaism, Shavuos Judaism, Lag BaOmer Judaism, Shabbos Judaism. We are selling our families short. It's got to stop. Too many teenagers don't give a hoot. They have to be begged to come to synagogue because you're only bringing them to synagogue on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. My God, if that's what my parents did me, I'd been out of here in a second. But that was a small detail of my Judaism, part of my relationship with Hashem. My Judaism was every minute of the day. It was the joy of being Jewish in school, giving tzedakah, taking care of the sick, feeding the homeless, inviting friends to my house for Shabbat, making the nicest meals, and singing songs at the Shabbos table. There's no technology at my Shabbos table. There's no phones or computers. We're around the table talking, singing, sharing. It's alive. Judaism is joy. So I'm going to share with you one of my favorite stories. This story happened, there's a discrepancy if it happened in the days of the Tzemach Tzedek or the days of the Levi Yitzchak Berditchev. Has anybody ever heard of Levi Yitzchak Berditchev? Give me an emoji if you ever heard of this man. This is a great, great righteous man who lived about 200 years ago. And he was known for being the rabbi that always saw the good in Jews. I'll give you an example. If you came into a synagogue and there was a guy outside of Yom Kippur smoking, you'd walk over to the guy and go, it's Yom Kippur. Maybe you want to put away the cigarette. You probably don't realize it's Yom Kippur. The guy goes, I know it's Yom Kippur. I don't care. I'm going to smoke. What did Levi Yitzchak Berditchev do? Turns to Hashem. He says, Hashem, look at your nation. On Yom Kippur, they'll never tell a lie. That's what we spoke about a few weeks ago. Dan lekaf schus. Do you remember we spoke about that? Do you remember, Francis? Dan lekaf schus. What does that mean? Anybody know what it means, Dan lekaf schus? So this Levi Yitzchak Berditchev, it was one night of Yom Kippur, and everyone is in shul. They're wearing the white kittel. The chazan is in the front. All the people are in serious mode. Suddenly his fellow walks in, drunk, all over the place. And he's tipsy and he's jumping around. Everyone's looking at him aghast. It's Kippur. How do you walk into shul like that? So they tried to kick him out. And Levi Yitzchak says, wait, don't touch this fellow. Oh, yeah, but he's dancing around like it's Simchas Torah. They go, yeah. For him, it is already Simchas Torah. What do you mean? It's Yom Kippur tonight. He says, let me tell you what happened. This week, a fellow in our community, in the days of Levi Yitzchak, there are many Jews who used to rent their inns from a poritz landowner. And if they couldn't come through with the rent, they were thrown into a dungeon. This week, he says, one Jewish family was thrown into the dungeon. And they gave a clap, 500 rubles, or he doesn't come out. This man made it his duty to raise the money. So why is he drunk? Let me tell you why he's drunk. He went from house to house and he raised 100 rubles. But then he needed 400 rubles. And it was almost Yom Kippur. So this Jew walked into another inn where a lot of secular Jews were sitting and drinking because Yom Kippur didn't mean much to them. He walks over and he says, I have to raise money to redeem a fellow family from the dungeon. So one Jew thought he'd have a good time. He goes, okay, drink up this whole cup of vodka. I'll give you 100 ruble. And all the guys are laughing. Let's watch this Jew drink up. Hilarious. Man knows it's Erev Yom Kippur, but he also knows there's a Jew sitting in the dungeon. And his priorities were to save a Jew from the dungeon. So with all his strength, he drinks up the vodka. By then already, his head is turning, but he takes the 100 rubles, puts it in his pocket, and then he goes to the next table. He says to the next table, do you want to help redeem a family from the dungeon before Yom Kippur? And they said, sure. Why don't you drink another cup of vodka? We'll give you 100 rubles. Kidding me? I can barely stand. You want the 100 rubles, you better drink it. So reluctantly, he drank the cup. And when that was done, he literally rolled over. He couldn't even stand straight, but they gave him 100 rubles. He needed 200 more rubles. Went to the next table, reenacted the whole scene, went to the next table, and in a half hour, he had accumulated the entire 400 rubles he needed. Together with 100, had 500 rubles. But by now, he couldn't stand. He could barely walk. And he asked two guys, take me to the closest inn over there. I need to go and repay it, the ransom. And two people gathered him by the hands and they schlepped him because the guy couldn't walk straight. And he walks into the inn and he says to the landowner, the pirates, "Are you the guy you have to give 500 rubles? Here it is." Shocked. But he gave them the 500 rubles and they redeemed the family. This drunken Jew knew that tonight was in Kippur. Jew has to go to shul on Yom Kippur, right? Like we said before, cooking, kicking or screaming, you gotta get to shul. And so he asks those two guys, "Please take me to the synagogue, the great synagogue." The Yitzchak says, and that's the Jew. That's the Jew that just had 4 big, huge cups of vodka, but he redeemed a family from prison. For him, it's already Simchas Torah. For him, he doesn't need Yom Kippur. I'd like to propose that we come to shul tonight with the confidence and the joy of this fellow. Today, fill up your day with mitzvahs. Fill up your day with mitzvahs. Every opportunity. If you get a pledge on the phone, or if you get a pledge on your Facebook page or on your email asking for money, take out your credit card and just give. Don't think, just give. You don't have to give $500,000, but give. And give a little bit more than you feel comfortable. And fill up your day. The custom today that we get honey cake from a friend. It's called giving lekach. The Lubavitcher Rebbe used to give lekach Erev Rosh Hashanah. And people would put out their hand and he would give a piece of honey cake. And my husband bought this loaf because he gave this morning a loaf to the community. And I'm giving the loaf later to the women. Whoever wants can come to my house. And they put out their hand and they basically say, "Can I have a piece of cake?" And I give them a honey cake. And I ask them to give me. And this does away, if there's God forbid, a omen that we have to ask for something this year, then we get rid of that. We get rid of that by asking today in Erev Yom Kippur, "Can I have?" And so if we ever have to be on the receiving end, we're done with that. We do that. So that's look at. But be busy. Get your Tehillim. Keep your Tehillim out. Say Tehillim as much as you can. Because tonight, when you come to shul on Erev Yom Kippur, you are going to be confident Jew. You're going to be a Jew that is so prepared for Yom Kippur, because you filled yourself up with the joy of mitzvahs. You're not coming with trepidation. You're coming with the idea of tshuva, returning to who you are. Who am I? Am I a Jew that gossips? Am I a Jew that does this wrong, that does that wrong? No. I am a piece of Hashem. I am a chelik elokam imal mamash. And I know that I am coming to Hashem complete, ready for Hashem to shower me with blessings. It's a different trajectory, I have to admit, because the world talks a lot about, trepidation, fear, sin, admitting your sin. But we have to come to shul with assurance that everything Hashem does for us is good for us, is bringing out the best in us. If I have a minute, I want to read you a beautiful poem that my sister shared with me. I'm going to share it with you. It was written by Anonymous, and she is talking to God. It goes like this. "Hey, God." God says, "Hello, me. I'm falling apart. Can you put me back together?" God says, "I'd rather not." "Why?" God says, "Because you aren't a puzzle." "Yeah, but what are all the pieces of my life that are falling down into the ground?" God says, "Let them stay for a while. They fell off for a reason. Take some time and decide if you need any of those pieces back." "Me, but you don't understand. I'm breaking down." God says, "No, you don't understand. You are breaking through. What you are feeling are growing pains. You are shedding the things and the people in your life that are holding you back. You aren't falling apart. You're falling into place. Relax. Take some deep breaths. Allow those things you don't need anymore to fall off of you. Quit holding on to the pieces that don't fit you anymore. Let them fall off. Let them go. Me. But once I start doing that, what's going to be left of me? God says, only the very best pieces of you. So I say, but God, I'm scared of changing. God says, I keep telling you, you aren't changing. You are becoming. Becoming who? Becoming who I created you to be. A person of light and love and charity and hope and courage and joy and mercy and grace and compassion. I made you far more than the shallow pieces you have decided to adorn yourself with, that you cling with such greed and fear. Let those things fall off. I love you. Don't change. Become. Become. Become who I made you to be. I'm going to keep telling this to you until you remember it. Uh-oh, there goes another piece. Yep, let it be. So I'm not broken? Of course not. But you are breaking like the dawn. It's a new day. Become. I love this dialogue. Does this do anything for you guys? Tell me if this little exchange between you and God does something for you. Becoming. Becoming the best who we are. This is what's happening on Yom Kippur. We're shedding off all that's not us, all our trappings, all our negativity, all the toxicity, all the negativity bias. We're getting rid of it. Tonight, we come to Shul Yom Kippur. We are letting go and letting God. And we are becoming back to who we are. That piece of Hashem, that chelik elokah. You know, the little girl that in my school, her name was Esti. I went to play one day. By the way, I have the best job in the world. Not only do I give classes and I travel the world and speak to adults, but I get to spend time with children. And that is the best part of life. For those of you who are mothers or your grandmothers, you know that that's really the best part of our day. So I was playing with the little girls in school this week, and they were just singing Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is truly everywhere. And I said to the little girls, you know, Kinderach, you all have a piece of Hashem in you. And this little Esty goes, no, Moro Goldie, we don't only have a piece of Hashem, we are Hashem. I looked at this little girl who's 3 years old. I said, Esty, I gave her the biggest hug. I said, you're so right. You are Hashem. That's who we are. So when we come to Shul tonight, let's remember what Esty teaches us. We are Hashem. We are becoming who we are supposed to be. Anything that falls apart, anything that's not meant to be, don't pick it up. Hashem gives you exactly what you need. People in your life who are being constantly introduced to you, those are people that you need to have on your journey. And when we come to Shul on Yom Kippur and we spend the 25 hours, yeah, we might be hungry. Just drink a lot of water today. By the way, eating and drinking today is also a mitzvah. It says it's equally as a mitzvah as fasting tomorrow. So just forget the calories. Just enjoy your food today. We're supposed to have 2 meals. We have a meal this afternoon around 1. Then after, right before the fast, we have another one called Suda Mafseket. So we have 2 meals. We have challah at each meal. The first meal traditionally is like fish and soup with kreplach. Second meal is soup again with the main course. Eating challah, dipping it into honey. Today we also give our grandchildren and our children the blessings. Give a lot of tzedakah today. Really overdo it with tzedakah. And then come to Shul tonight. And when I'll greet you, all my friends, those of you who are come to my Shul, for those of you I won't see, we'll come to Shul in a different space. We are becoming who we are meant to be. Tshuva, the word of Tashuv. We are returning to our real essence. We're going to make resolutions of coming more often to Shul, not just being 2 days a year Jew. No, 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 no. Get your families involved. Come at least once a month. Come to Shul once a month. Say to your family, this year we're making a resolution. We're going to be part of Judaism not just the fasting days, and not just the days that sits a whole day in praise, but the days that we dance and we have cholent and we have fun and we throw candies and we have bar mitzvahs and we have Purim and we have Simchas Torah. Just be that Jew that comes. Take your body and bring it into the synagogue. Invite the family to really celebrate Shabbat away with technology, but a Shabbos that's really connected, the connection part, right? Go around the table every Friday night and every Shabbos lunch and ask your children to tell you about their day, the most important part, the most meaningful part, or maybe the most frightening part, but conversations that are celebrated so our families connect. Wishing you all, like the Rebbe used to wish everyone, Erev Yom Kippur, he would stand with the young Bachurim. Those were his children, right? Remember, the Rebbe didn't have children. And he would give them blessings from Aleph to Tav, giving you those blessings, Aleph to Tav. It should be a year of goodness and kindness, health and prosperity and peace of mind and shalom bayit, menuchas and nefesh and gesund and parnasa, and every blessing that you need. And remember, open your hearts and open your minds and open your mouth. Hashem is waiting for us. Remember that the moment of Ne'ilah, that fifth prayer of Ne'ilah, when Hashem closes the gate, just remember one thing. We are inside the gate with Hashem. Wishing you a Gemar Chasima Tova, an easy and meaningful fast. We'll see you, Mitzvah Hashem, next week.